When a person newly enters a relationship, it's easy to assume that they would be in love forever. The warm fuzzy feelings and euphoria that characterizes the early stage of romance form a fog that takes some time to clear, and many find it difficult to believe that anything could ever happen to their love life. To them, their relationship is foolproof against any form of attack, but experience has shown that these feelings last an average of 2 years, after which it's up to the couple to put effort into making the relationship work. When you come down from the high of being in love, you now begin to notice certain things that you have been blinded to, and many other loopholes could begin to show forth that could eventually lead to a breakup if not properly managed. Breakups don't just happen suddenly. It's usually the resultant effect of matters that have accumulated over a period of time which both parties have chosen to ignore or overlook. Do you want to avoid a breakup in your relationship? Are you willing to do all you can to see that your love grows, irrespective of circumstances and situations? What price will you be willing to pay to make things work? You should know that anything that works must be worked on, and so you have to deliberate about your relationship. Don't assume that things will work themselves out, because this is the point most people begin to miss it. To get it right in your relationship, look at the lives of people who have gone through or are in similar situations. For those with successful relationships, you might want to consider what made their love a sustainable one. And for those who did not make it, what were their mistakes? These are some of the mistakes you might want to avoid in your relationship. Communication gaps. Communication is very important in any form of relationship, be it platonic or romantic. Without it, a relationship might as well be non-existent. When you first fell in love, there was a constant checking up on each other, consistent communication that kept your hearts connected. You always wanted to be with that person, and if you're apart, you're always calling to know where they are and what they're doing at any point in time. However, as time goes on, if you're most people, you become so used to their presence, and the butterflies that you feel whenever you're with them begins to disappear. This is time to keep up with your communication rather than go with the flow and the normal cycle. As the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. The moment you begin to lose touch with your partner, the feelings that were once on fire inside of you begins to die, and you're gradually on the way to a breakup. To avoid this, keep the communication line open and constant. Deliberately take out time to call and check up on them, no matter how busy your schedule is. Communication does not mean just being with the other person or talking all the time. It also involves talking about things that matter, keeping an open line of communication and discussing issues as they crop up. To avoid confrontations and fights, most people tend to sweep matters under the carpet, rather than discuss them with their partners. Accumulation of these would eventually lead to an explosive fight when things come to a head, and a breakup would be unavoidable at this point. Instead, when you observe something that you do not like or not comfortable with, gently and lovingly present this to your partner at an appropriate time. Never make assumptions or come to certain conclusions without first consulting with your partner. Depending on what the issue is, they could explain their behavior or promise to adjust. Another communication issue that might lead to a breakup is keeping secrets from your partner. You should be able to relate well with your partner and let them know about everything going on in your life. Trust should not be an issue between both of you, so avoid keeping secrets from your partner, because finding out from another source could hurt them and destroy the trust you share. Once there is no trust in a relationship, what's the point? The relationship is already gone. So, to increase the love in your relationship, make honest, open, and consistent communication a priority. Distractions and wrong company. If you want your relationship to work, you must learn to eliminate all forms of distractions that can threaten the success of your relationship. Even after you have met and accepted to be committed to a particular person for the rest of your life, you will still come across people that are interested in you. The fact that you're engaged or married is not a guarantee that you're automatically excluded from becoming attracted to someone else or initiating a similar response in another. The truth is that you will still find men or women that are more beautiful, handsome, romantic, intelligent, and wealthier than your partner. If you allow yourself to be carried away by these things, there is a big chance that your relationship is heading for the rocks. Give no room for any form of comparison in your relationship. Don't compare your spouse or partner to someone else or your relationship with other people's. Each relationship is unique, and what applies or works for your relationship might not apply to another. The fact that your friends are getting gifts or being showered with attention from their partners is not an indication that all is well with them, and should not be a yardstick to measure the success of your relationship. Your relationship should be based on mutual understanding and trust, grounded with faith in God. Let the Word of God be the mirror through which you examine yourself and your spouse. As a lady, are you submissive? Or do you believe you should have the right to make your own decisions? As a man, do you respect your partner and place value on her as a helpmeet? Or do you discard her opinions and relegate her to being just capable of menial activities? This is where the issue of the kind of company you keep comes to play. When you keep the wrong kind of friends, they will advise you based on their knowledge, which is one contaminated with wrong beliefs of the world system. For instance, many women are now into the feminist movement and do not want to be subject to men. This lack of submission in women and the need to share equal authority with their men have been the cause of many breakups and unsuccessful relationships. To avoid becoming a part of the growing statistics of failed relationships, learn to remove all form of distractions. Stay with the right kind of friends, and let the Word of God be the standard for your relationship. Having unrealistic expectations. Most ladies and men in search of a relationship partner usually have a list of characteristics that they expect that person to possess. Ladies will usually go for tall, dark, rich guys who are charming and will be able to sweep them off their feet at first glance, while most men want beautiful, sleek, slim, and model-grade goddesses. Whatever the range of specifications, the fact remains that we usually have an image of the ideal man or woman we want ourselves, which is quite different from reality. We forget that nobody is perfect, and everybody has his area of strength and weaknesses. When you enter a relationship with the mindset that your spouse or partner should be perfect, you're already setting yourself up for disappointment. There is no perfect ready-made relationship anywhere. You have to work towards getting your relationship to what you want it to be. Avoid trying to change your partner. Instead, accept them the way they are. Encourage them to improve on their strengths and help them work on their weaknesses. Trying to change them would only lead to resistance on their part and create a rift in the relationship. On the other hand, helping them in their endeavors, supporting them, and encouraging them to become better would make their love and respect grow the more. Pride and ego. When you're in a relationship, you should realize that it's not all about you. All forms of selfishness should be removed, and instead, you should focus on the growth of the relationship. This means admitting when you're wrong and not holding on to grudges. The Bible tells us to be subject to one another in all things, and that each person should esteem the other higher than themselves. In other words, pride should not have a place in your relationship. Remember that it was pride that led to the downfall of Satan and created a bridge between him and God. So let go of your pride and bring down your ego. Know that of certainty that offenses would come and there would be a need to forgive each other over and over again. You must settle in your mind to forgive your spouse even before they offend you. You must also choose to deliberately overlook some things and be ready to say sorry even when you're right. When both parties are humble, it creates an atmosphere where matters can be discussed and settled amicably, and there is no fear of condemnation. Ultimately, you must learn to commit your relationship to God. With Him as the author and the foundation of your relationship, you can be sure that no storm, no matter how fierce, would break your relationship.